Hey friends, followers, welcome to McFarland's Corner. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide, and I'm going to give you a rundown. This is going to be a little different rundown than you're kind of used to, those that are following, but it's still basically a rundown. I did not fish last week. I was hunting last week. I wanted to stay out of the way of all the pros. We had the BASS elite anglers here, 85 of them, top 85 fishermen in the U.S. As we knew, the conditions were going to be tough. But it's the Goat Lake, man. It's the Goat Lake. So even though they didn't catch a lot of fish, they still caught the right fish. And the leading sacks were still quite big. Now for a 4-day event, majority of the top 10 didn't break 75 pounds. Keith Combs, 75 pounds. That's less than 20 pounds a day on fork. That shows how tough it was. Low numbers. The number count was way down, but they're the best of the best, and the winner showed that. All right, for the first time in history, the winner is leading by, I think, won it by 32 pounds. Didn't even have to fish the last day, but he did. He broke the 100-pound century mark once again here on fork, which seems to happen every time they fish here. It's amazing. But Patrick Walters, congratulations, sir. What an incredible win. And it was a combination of 4 different jerkbaits, basically. And the main thing was the Garmin Live Scope. So what Patrick did was use the Humminbird 360 to locate stumps, trees, and structure that fish were suspending on. Depending on the level that those were suspending on is what jerkbait he would throw, suspending jerkbait. Once he located a tree that had a fish on it, he then would throw past that, go to the Garmin Live Scope, and watch now on the scope, literally video fishing, sight fishing. So he would watch on the scope that lure come to the tree. When the lure would get next to the tree, he'd stop it and leave it there. And instead of the normal strokes with the jerkbait, he'd make little ones. And he'd coax that fish to hit that bait. I think one of his best days, he landed about 16 quality fish. He culled quite a few times, and that was a great day with a 29-pound sack. The key was he was hunting them out as he went, finding the fish, scoping the fish, casting to the fish, and catching the fish. It's a new game, folks. It's a video game. And from now on, with the Garmin electronics, you can hunt them out. Mike McFarland analogy. It's like going in the woods now with a pair of binoculars and a spotting scope. You just go until you find what you're looking for, and then you see it right there on that screen, and you fish for it right there live on that screen. Once again, Patrick Walters, congratulations, sir. BASS Elite Champion right here at Lake Fork, the Goat Lake, with, I think, 104 pound worth of bass. 20 bass for 104 pounds in 4 days. All right. Something really unique I want to give you a rundown. So last week is in red. All right. Last week I kept details. I did not go on the lake, but I had ability to keep lake level and temperatures for you at friends that were out there. I had plenty of people following the pros and things that I could get some of this information. And of course, I always obtained the lake level information. The blue is from me fishing today. Back to work. What I think is really, really cool right here is, and really even Tuesday was 400.94. But if you look closely, you'll see Wednesday, 400.94. Thursday, 400.94. Friday, 400.94. Saturday, 400.95. Folks, we ain't raining. We ain't got nothing going on there. Why is the lake, for the first time in maybe this entire year, absolutely locked up stable? I'm speculating here, but I think it's a fair speculation, and I think if it's a fact, then it's really cool. But I believe SRA locked up everything so the lake would be stable for the pros. Remember how much we talk about rising water rises fish and falling water points them out? Well, it's fall, and the fish want to migrate into the backs and go up them creeks. And if they're not going up those creeks, sometimes there's an answer. Maybe it's not ready, or it's too cold already. Or how about when the water's falling? Why are they going to go up in when the water's coming out, falling out? So I'm pretty darn sure documentation is proof, and I have documentation of days and days and days of following this water cycle, and never ever has it had 4 days where it maintained the exact low level and without any weather or anything. So what that is, and that's cool. It was really cool of SRA to do that, especially under those conditions. It's the same kind of respect to the pros that I think most guides should give them while they were here. Try not to be out there. They're here one time for 4 days. Let them have it. They bring a lot of eyeballs to us. They teach us stuff because, really sometimes it's a tournament fish they're searching. That's different than guiding fish. But they still can teach us something. They're the best of the best. So even on our home lake, sometimes by being humble and letting those guys have that lake, stay out of their way, you can learn something. As we all did about this live scope and Mr. Patrick Walters. But anyways, for the pros, the lake was set up beautiful. 1 to 2 foot visibility depending on where you are. North end turnover done. Water looks awesome. Mid lake, awesome. Where Patrick won, mid lake, awesome. Get down south and you'll run into some yucky water, some whiskey stained water, some yellow bubbles. So we really have had a very elongated turnover in bits and pieces throughout the lake. We didn't have one big turnover like normal. Lake temperature 60 degrees, 60 to 65 degrees. Everything remained really good for them. Weather remained good for them, and yet it was still really tough because the lake was still in midst of turnover recovery. So really neat to have them here. Today I did fish. I found awesome water. Water temperature, water level 400.92. So after 6 days, today's the first day that they have the gates back open. Now listen to me, it's not a gate. It's the rate of flow pipe. All right, they have gates that they open for flood conditions, and they have a certain amount of water that must maintain downstream at all times. It's called rate of flow. Whatever, if there was no lake here, whatever should be flowing downstream at this time of year has to flow. It's a very, very minimum amount of water. That's why you'll see very minimum dropping. Then we also pool for municipal, and we probably don't have any more evaporation this time of year. But that's what it is now. Nice job, SRA. If I am right, and I'd bet on it, explain why it's so stable. Thanks for closing those gates for the pros. And believe me, I'm not insinuating anything, folks. I'm not insinuating that they could close them during the middle of winter when we got rain, floods, and high water. Sometimes it'd be nice, but they can't. In fact, the last time the elite anglers were here, they had a pretty good first day, and then they had to open the gates the second day, and we got to truly see how it affected it did. It made a huge, huge difference, at least on Fork, where they're not used to that draw and that current. But anyway, so today was kind of fun. It's tough. It's still fishing tough. It is almost ready to open up, okay? Beautiful, pristine, clear water. You can see your baits sometimes 3 feet easily. It's starting to take form of that gunmetal blue in most cases. That's our fall color. There's still some of the Lake Fork green areas. I believe, I'm learning more and more in Northeast Texas, I believe the Lake Fork green areas have to turn over and they start to become crystal clear water, and the more that gets clear and it begins to have the fall gunmetal blue. So kind of be careful on your water when you're fishing Fork right now. The temperatures are great. We are not cold. In fact, 64 degrees is when bass spawn. So any day, we got good weather, the lake is primed to go off for a fall feast. We really need one more cold front, and it won't make for a heavy turnover anymore, or it won't turn things, but you'll probably see some more methane gases and stuff when it hits. But one more good cold front, and I think that'll be it. We get the water in that low 60s, upper 50s, 58, and man, that's the signal for these bass to chew. What am I throwing right now? All right. I'm still hodgepodging it. All right, I'm throwing small baits to get bit. The big fish are still being caught on small baits. Jay Ellis was throwing a small spinner bait. He got 7 quality keepers, had 17 pounds. 7 bites in is a long day, but he never put it down. He threw that spinner bait running bank and docks around vegetation, a lightweight spinner bait, 1 white blade and 1 orange blade. I'm throwing like an underspin, pure white on white, okay? This is a Kitech here, real small Kitech white ice, because the water is crystal clear where I'm fishing. So white ice is awesome. like to tell you what I throw this on. And by the way, you're going to see that all four of the rods all four baits are on the exact same rod. All right, this is my custom-made rod for real-time rods. This is my reaction rod. This is a 7'10" CB 1536 power. All right, I tip it with a 6:3 gear ratio Daiwa. It's a Daiwa 150. I can put a lot of line on it. The 20-pound monofilament. I am able to throw that tiny little underspin right there. That's just an 1/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce underspin, or the large one, or an Alabama rig, or a small square bill, or a big square bill, all on the same rod. So as I show you the four baits, they're all on the same rod. That again is a CB 7'10" 1530. Okay, real-time rod, CB 7'10" 1530 with the McFARLAND'S signatures. Long casting, smooth, smooth, smooth. Trust me, it's one of the best rods you'll ever put in your hands. All right. So one of the baits I'm throwing, a little underspin. All right. If I see real small bait flickering out of the water, it's no doubt the small one. If I see bigger bait, I obviously go to the larger profile. Occasionally, you're going to see that. You're going to start to see the Gizzard Shad again. As the lake turns now and gets healthy, you're going to see everything come together. You're going to see that bait come up shallow first before it goes back down deep. All right. Again, around small bait, same rod. I can throw a 1/2 ounce spinner bait on this rod, or I can throw a 1/4 ounce lightweight finesse. Got 5. Santone got 5. All right. This bad boy right here with a UV trailer on it. UV baits, UV light baits. Right there is deadly for picking up 5 bites. Run around some bait, find a bird or two, fish in front of him. Throw that through them docks, cover some water. It's a great search bait. Again, same exact rod, 20-pound test. And I can throw even, this rod, by the way, is rated for 3/4 to 3 ounce. That's right, 3/4 to 3 ounce. So I'm going to throw a tiny little 1/4 ounce bait or big bait, all on the same rod, all on the same line. All right. Ricky Clun, Mr. Ricky Clun, the very first day, Thursday, was it Thursday? Yeah. He had 29 pounds. He took 4 fish off one dock on a 1.5 square bill. A tiny little square bill. All right. Again, I'm throwing that in the exact same rod, 20-pound test. If I'm around small bait, I'm throwing the 1.5. If I'm around big bait, I'll go to the 2.0 or the 2.5 or maybe the 4.0, depending on how big the bait is. All right. Gizzard Shad's perfect color this time of year, green Gizzard Shad. In the healthy water, any of the shad colors, sexy shad, but right now kind of a dark back, gold body, white belly really seems to be the best color. 1.5 is a good search bait. Find an area, get a bite or two, turn around and comb it out. Again, same rod, 20 pounds, same line. Mason's, Basson, 20-pound monofilament. All right, and here we go with one final bait. That's really one of the favored baits in the fall. Is a jerkbait. As the water gets cooler and cooler, and realistically, this is a great bait all the way through winter. The water gets cold enough for the shad to start dying off, and it is definitely jerkbait time. But I'm already breaking out a jerkbait. My favorite jerkbait on fork, unless I'm going to match the hatch, I don't downsize my jerkbaits. I just pick up a Lucky Craft. I think this is a 128, I believe it is, a pointer 128. Well, here I got my glasses right here. I used to throw this for pike, and this is a suspender pointer 128. This is a big bad boy right there. Sexy shad right now. This is the blackback sexy shad, so it's darker color, nice white belly, a little yellow on it. And I honestly, again, throw this on the same exact rod, same line. And it's probably not the most ideal tip for a jerkbait. There's so much work, and you really want a little more tip than this particular rod has for a jerkbait, but it still works all around. One rod throws all those baits. And honestly, I can pull offshore and tie on a 6XD or a 10XD or an Alabama rig on the same rods with the same line. Really unique, okay? That's pretty much the gist of my rundown. Some of the places that you should be fishing. If you're here this week or you're coming this weekend, is shallow, first of all. The shallow bite's going to go off before the deep bite does. Again, our next cold front should cool things down just a little bit more. The fish are still trying to run from turnover. They're still hiding in places. They're going up and suspending on trees and being lethargic for several days or even weeks until that water gets healthy again. And it's an oxygen deal. Once there's good oxygen, dissolved oxygen, and the turnover's gone away, the fish will fire up. And it's time for a fall frenzy. All right. Really appreciate you all watching. I only have a couple days open, Saturdays anyways. The last 2 Saturdays of November are still available. If someone would like to book, please private message me. I'm running some special prices. If you have any questions for anything, a lesson, something you'd like, a topic you'd like me to talk about, as we've done before, please put that below. Comment below. Give me the thumbs up, like if you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And again, thank you for watching. I'm Mike McFarland, giving you a Lake Fork rundown. Take care. God bless. And someone catch a big one.